Mary Higgins Clark and her daughter Carol Higgins Clark are superb storytellers. They both have the keen gift of observation, which is showcased when they write a book together or apart. It is my pleasure to welcome Mary Higgins Clark and Carol Higgins Clark to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Lovely to be with you. Thank you.
A pleasure to meet you. And you're up to something in this city, rumor has it.
Rumor has it. They are doing for a movie, a TV movie, which will show on December 20th, I think, Deck the Halls, which is the first book Carol and I wrote together. Carol has a very nice part. She plays identical twins. I, on the other hand, do a Alfred Hitchcock.
She sits in the bar. I own a bar. My characters own a bar, and she's in the background in the bar.
Great.
Yeah.
So you're not the lead or anything?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say so.
No, not the lead.
But maybe one day.
Yeah.
You just never know.
You never
because
know.
You are an actor.
Yes, I started as an actor and got into the writing, but have kept up with the acting as well. Yeah.
I guess it is in the DNA, that writing thing.
Oh, I think it must be. Well, all 5 of my kids are storytellers. I mean, if at a dinner table, don't be boring, because
you
you'll
get cut off.
Yes.
Interrupted.
So they all really have the gift of writing, but Carol is the one who pursued it and very successfully.
I noticed. When did you know it was your gift?
I've been writing since I was 6 years old. As soon as I could put sentences together, I was writing poetry, I was writing skits and making my brothers perform in them. It was always there. And my mother thought everything I wrote was scripted by the angels. Mary has written a beautiful new poem. You know, when people are in the house, Mary, stand on the landing and recite your beautiful new poem.
So you had a captive audience.
Yeah, I'm sure they were ready to
Yeah,
slit my
captive
throat.
is the word.
But to have a mother who embraces you and your work and encourages you to do what you love, how great is that? Did she do that for you?
Oh, definitely. I started by retyping her books when I was in college, when she still had a full-time job, and it was before computers, and it took a long time to retype a manuscript. And that's where I learned a lot about writing. And now in Deck the Halls, the character Elvira, who is with my character Reagan, my mother had killed her off in a book when she first appeared, and I said, Elvira's too funny, keep her alive. So that's
that was
what
a
I
great
did.
contribution to literature.
I'm sure. Well, you know, some critics say that you have a bit of a sense of humor in yours. You're more about Agatha Christie, serious stuff.
Well, one critic said, and I think he put it best, Mary Higgins Clark goes for the jugular vein, and Carol Higgins Clark goes for the funny bone.
Yeah.
And
So
actually,
that-
I do have a
Yeah.
sense of humor, but I have to cut it down.
Well, was it your mother who never let age interfere with fun?
Oh, that's right. Remember
Was
she
it?
went on the parachute jump at Coney
Oh,
Island?
yeah, my mother, when she
she
died
was
at
80.
81, but she had more of a sense of humor. My father died when I was 11, and she took the 3 of us over. It was the first World's Fair. We went on the parachute jump, and she had the widow's weeds on in those days, and they're flying through the air as Nora comes plummeting down.
So Nora gave you that gift, the
Yes.
humor gift, and I know the whole family probably laughs and scratches, right?
Yes.
And tells good stories.
Yes, yes.
I would love to be there for bedtime stories when you were a little girl. Or how many kids? 5?
5.
So did she tell you amazing bedtime stories?
I don't really remember. I mean, it's...
There's a man under your bed.
yeah, yes, she says. But you said when you were a kid at slumber party, she liked to tell scary stories.
Yeah, I
to
said,
her-
let's
to her
turn out all
friends.
the lights, light one candle, and scare each other.
We used to do that at camp.
Yeah,
You'd take
that's
your
fun.
flashlight,
Oh,
know,
right,
sneak
right,
around
yes,
with
yeah.
a sheet over your head or something like
Yeah.
that. But you raised these children by yourself for a while.
Well,
Lost your husband at 35?
36.
36.
And they were 5, 8, 10, 12, and 13. So they were young. But you know, you do it. I was so glad I had them. I always wanted 6, and I only got 5.
Well, go back to your writing career. Where did it start? Because you were a Pan American stewardess, a flight attendant.
Yes.
Yes.
So we say.
That's
And
right.
did you see there's a new show on Pan American now that
Yes.
is starting? I just told the girls, the buttons aren't right.
Really?
She saw a picture in the paper on the uniform. And
How great.
Yeah.
Well, Pan Am would love you for that.
Yes, we could, but they do have the white gloves and the shoulder bag and the overseas cap. and the humps just this high.
That's right. In the days when you had a fine gin martini on an airplane, right? Didn't you?
Yes.
And, you know,
Yes.
steak,
Right.
food.
Well, that was before my time. That was the Boeing
Oh.
Stratocruiser. We had the Maxon meals, which you heated in the
Okay.
and eat them fast because 4 minutes later you wouldn't want them. And you put them on a pillow on your lap. You see, we didn't have trays on those. And it was the propeller planes. So the turbulence was really something.
Of course, yes. I remember flying in the 580 Convair someplace. Oh, my. So, developing a sleuth, a good sleuth, a Reagan Riley. Where does it begin? In your head? You see a movie, you get inspired, you read a mystery book, what?
When I developed Reagan, a publisher was interested in my work, and they said, I thought I'd make her a private investigator if it was going to be a series character, and they said, we'll make her mother a mystery writer. And I said, okay, so that's how that happened in my books.
Easy.
I didn't even think of that myself. And then just sort of wanted to make her funny and fun and not getting into, things happen to her. She goes on vacation and someone needs her help, that kind of thing. And I just started with my first book, Decked, and it just kept going from there.
Well, they say most great writers write what they know, or little of what they know.
Right.
Why only one word in your titles?
Well, that was when my first one was a murder on a cruise ship, and we were trying to think of a nautical title, and my mother came up with Decked, and we liked it. And then I had a friend who had a pantyhose business, and I went with him to a pantyhose convention, so I wrote about a murder at a pantyhose convention, and I thought, well, if that was Decked, this should be Snagged, and that's how the one-word titles happened, so I kept going after that.
What do they do at a pantyhose convention?
Not much. It was I think everybody just had fun.
So you have to have a murder.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
In the book she does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the basis of Deck the Halls. It's about,
Kidnapping.
don't tell me the end, well, I know you won't.
Yes. Well, what it is that Reagan's father is kidnapped. He owns a funeral home, and he is kidnapped with his driver, and the attempts to find them, and he's being kept on a houseboat. He and Rosita are being kept on a houseboat.
His driver.
His
yeah.
driver's a female.
Yes.
Yeah, and a very
an
young
attractive female, of course.
Yes. But that isn't for Luke. It's more that she's a single mother with 2 young children, and now she's so worried about her children, and then Reagan is frantic to find them, and the houseboat is sinking.
Yes.
And Reagan meets Jack, who becomes her husband in later books. He's the head of the Major Case Squad in New York, and he gets involved in this. And then, of course, Elvira.
And the sleuths are funny. I mean, the kidnappers are funny, but the danger is that the boat is sinking. And
True.
And Petey the painter is one of the ones, and he drops the ransom. He drops the $1 million ransom over the boat by mistake.
In the East River.
He starts to kiss his boat goodbye, and he doesn't leave
drops-
up.
And
So
Petey's
it's
the
funny.
painter. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not where he drops the money yet, but I did go through him painting the funeral home chartreuse or something. So decided that you should rev it up a bit.
Yeah.
So you see, the whole principle of those books is there's a lot of humor, but there is danger. Not these guys are not going to murder them, but they're leaving them on the boat, and the boat is sinking.
And both of you study locales so well, like when you ground your books.
Oh, you have to. You have to know
You do
what
so
you're
much
doing.
research.
Yes.
Well, it's very important. We hired 2 retired detectives. They would, the first time we hired them was for that book.
For Deck the Halls,
And they found the spot where we could have an abandoned marina and keep a houseboat where it wouldn't be seen. And in my new book, I'll walk alone.
I'll walk alone.
I'll weep alone.
I'll
Yeah.
walk alone.
I'll walk alone.
Yes.
But I had a character in that book, a detective, interview someone at college and then walk 9 blocks, and it's raining, he has an umbrella, and he walks to the next witness. And the detective called me up, the one who talks to both of them. Mary, are you kidding? Detectives don't carry umbrellas. We might need to reach for our gun. What's more, detectives don't walk. We have a car.
You do the research.
Well, sure, because the devil's in the details.
Yes.
Truly, and if I'm reading this, even though I know it's fiction, if I'm a detective or if I've ever been arrested, I know that I wasn't arrested with an umbrella.
That's,
Right.
Pretty
exactly.
much.
Exactly.
But it says on the jacket, Mary Higgins Clark's new novel, the 30th and most spine-chilling of her long
They
career.
say that about all of them.
Do they?
Yeah.
They also say you're beloved and, you know, the queen of suspense fiction, but it makes sense because when you think about reading a book,
Yeah.
you usually read the cover, and I always read the acknowledgments.
Yes,
yeah.
and I have fun with the acknowledgments. Yeah, yeah. Because you want to thank the people who helped your editor. You want to. I thank the detectives because they're great, and you know the copy editor is so important for us to make sure we don't have Thursday when they did it on Wednesday.
I suppose. And
Yeah.
are you both disciplined writers? Do you
Yes.
take an hour every day or 10 hours or write in the morning? Do you have a routine?
I have less of a routine now because I used to be able to get up at 5 in the morning. I'm too old. I'm not going to get up at 5 in the morning, although we did it the other day for the set. But I do write, and if I'm not at the computer, it's going on here. But we both have deadlines, early January for next April. So there
Right.
is always the knowledge, you know, the book on the head. It's August, and how many pages have I written? 31, and thank you very much. So it's time to get a little busier.
And when your characters are gone, when they're in print, do you miss them? Well, you have ongoing characters, so
Yeah.
you probably
No,
carry.
for the most part, my books are not continuing
Right.
characters. Elvira insisted herself into this one. I did not intend to have her.
Elvira, the one who won the lottery.
The one
won the
lottery.
lottery.
Big
Yeah.
time. And
yeah.
now she thinks she's a sleuth.
And
Yes.
yeah, she thinks
She's
she
pretty
is.
good sleuth.
She's very good. Yeah.
And she has
she's-
that brooch.
She has
Yes.
a brooch and
And she
records
people.
conversations.
Of course she
yeah.
does. So
Yeah.
beware of brooches.
And Carol's Mobbed is a very funny book. It truly is.
I haven't started it. I'm looking forward to it. A
Good.
summer read. Mary and Carol Higgins Clark, our guests, they'll be at Chapters tonight, 7 o'clock, till about 8, 9?
Till
An
9.
hour.
Till 9.
A signing, and then you can go to fireworks.
Go to the fireworks
It's
afterwards.
perfect. Mary and Carol Higgins Clark will return.